In 1967, while the Six-Day War unfolded in the Middle East between Israel and its neighboring Arab countries, Singapore's leaders were keeping a close eye on the outcome, with a clear hope for an Israeli victory. For the tiny island nation, the war carried significant lessons that would shape its military strategy. But how did a conflict happening so far away become crucial to Singapore's future? Let's go back to 1965. Singapore had just been expelled from Malaysia and was left to fend for itself. Surrounded by potentially hostile neighbors, Singapore was in a vulnerable position with almost no defense capabilities. The island faced regional instability. Indonesia's confrontation was ongoing, and the Vietnam War raged nearby, adding to the tensions. Singapore's leaders knew that to survive, the nation had to build up its military quickly. At that time, the military situation in Singapore was bleak. There were only 2 small infantry battalions, mostly filled with Malaysian soldiers who had left after Singapore's independence. The remaining Singaporean troops were poorly equipped, with outdated weapons and only a wooden gunboat to protect their shores. Adding to the pressure, Britain, which had been Singapore's main defense partner, was gradually withdrawing its forces from the region. Lee Kuan Yew, Singapore's first Prime Minister, realized the gravity of the situation. He knew that Singapore had to become a poisonous shrimp, a small but deadly force that could deter larger adversaries.
Never fear. Some people think, we are a small place, they can put the screws on us. It's not so easy. We are a small place. In size, yes, geography. But in the quality of the men, the administration, the organization, the metal in a people, the fiber. Don't try.
The task of building this military force fell to Goh Keng Swee, Singapore's finance minister, despite his limited experience in defense matters. Singapore first tried creating a part-time volunteer army known as the People's Defense Force. But this effort struggled, especially as the predominantly Chinese population had little history of military service. Faced with the challenge of building a credible defense, Singapore looked for international help. However, requests for assistance from countries like India and Egypt didn't go anywhere. Finally, Singapore turned to Israel, a country known for its defense capabilities and, like Singapore, surrounded by hostile neighbors. Goh Keng Swee had visited Israel in 1959 and was impressed by its military system. In 1965, an Israeli military strategist, General Ze'evi, arrived in Singapore under strict secrecy. His mission was to help design Singapore's defense strategy, which became known as the Brown Book. The Israeli plan was to build a citizen army based on conscription, where every male Singaporean would serve. This citizen army would be supported by a small corps of professional soldiers. To avoid stirring political tensions with Muslim-majority countries in the region, Israeli advisors worked covertly, posing as Mexicans during their time in Singapore. Their primary focus was on training Singapore's first generation of military leaders at the newly established Singapore Armed Forces Training Institute, or SAFTI. As Singapore was beginning its military transformation, the Six-Day War broke out in 1967. Israel's swift and decisive victory over several Arab armies became a pivotal moment. Singapore's leaders saw the effectiveness of Israel's military approach in action, and it reinforced their belief that partnering with Israel was the right choice. The war gave Singapore the confidence that it could build a similarly capable defense force. After the war, Singapore rapidly advanced its military efforts. It purchased 72 AMX-13 light tanks from Israel to form its first armored corps. Seeing how Israel's air superiority had been key to its success, Singapore also focused on building an air force. In 1968, with the help of retired Israeli Air Force Colonel Adam Tsavoni, Singapore created its Air Force, initially known as the Singapore Air Defense Command. The relationship between Singapore and Israel grew stronger over the years, extending beyond military cooperation to trade, technology, and cultural exchanges. But defense remained the cornerstone of the partnership. Israel's expertise in modern warfare, along with its ongoing support, helped transform Singapore from a vulnerable, newly independent nation into a regional power with a well-trained and well-equipped defense force. Today, Singapore's military continues to benefit from Israeli technology, such as drones, air defense systems, and anti-tank missiles. This early partnership laid the foundation for Singapore's defense, and it remains an essential aspect of the nation's security. Though the world has changed since 1967, conflicts in the Middle East, including the recent 2023 Israel-Hamas conflict, still offer lessons for Singapore. The importance of self-reliance, regional security, and maintaining a strong defense force are values that Singapore continues to hold onto as it navigates the challenges of the modern world. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth videos.